And some states are more alike than others and share similar values, climates, topography perhaps, but are any similar enough to just join together? For today's On Our Mind, we're asking if you could combine 2 U.S. states, which 2 would you combine?
You know, there's multiple states I think that could possibly join, or multiple groups of states I think you could join. I think the bigger group I think you could join, North and South Dakota.
That is a popular one. I know Case Kramer behind the scenes was also advocating for North and South Dakota.
I also think there's some states you could divide, and I think there's some people you could probably would agree with me, and this may start a debate with some viewers. Who knows? Illinois.
Really? Okay, you want to divide Illinois instead of adding to Illinois. You're taking away from it.
I want to take away from Illinois.
Interesting. So how would you divide Illinois?
I definitely think areas around, I think Northern Illinois should be its own state.
Really? So how far north are we talking?
I definitely think areas near basically all of Chicago and mainly areas along it. I've heard people say I-80 before. Mainly Chicago and areas along and north of I-80 should be its own state, and areas south of that should be considered the other part of Illinois. So now what would you call that? I couldn't tell you what the other title would be.
Could go North and South Illinois, just like North and South Dakota.
Could, yeah. Yeah, I've heard people say that because I know the voting gets skewed there, because usually Chicago and another county usually gets the main pull in the voting, and not so much with the, especially with like the governor's race, the presidential races, and that's pretty much it. A lot of people complain, especially in downstate Illinois, they didn't have much of a say in that, although the local races they have a say. But that's why I always hear the old, they should separate that. But either way, you haven't had a chance to say your opinion.
Yeah, no, that was interesting. I did not anticipate you breaking up Illinois. I thought you'd try to like add a state to Illinois, but you did the exact opposite of what I thought. But good enough. I think, you know, when I think of states that should go together, I think it's Rhode Island, because it's so small.
Interesting.
And I think it's so similar to that eastern, northeastern sort of vibe. It could easily be added back onto like Massachusetts or Connecticut. And they would still be very small and very much, you know, the same sort of, you know, thought process and things like that. I'm certain that people are
Rhode Island is very small,
exactly.
So you can probably add on to it.
Exactly. I feel like you could just tack it on. Of course, people from Rhode Island probably do not appreciate me saying that it could just be tacked on somewhere. But either way, I think it's just so small that and the neighbors are so similar. I don't know how it's its own thing.
And yeah, so whether it's small states like that, or again, the Dakotas are very similar, or maybe the Virginias, and honestly, the Carolinas, they're very similar too.
Those are getting tricky there.
I don't know, they're very similar. Anyway, like you said, we're out of time.
So. There we go, Devin. We'll have to come back to this one day. But coming up, we take a trip over to Phillips and share an exciting upcoming event that's going on this Friday at the iconic Concrete Park.
But first, Howard is in a Mr. Food Test Kitchen with a recipe for balsamic flank steak.
Ooh.